Chairman, please take your spot.
Good evening. Welcome to the September 18th Health and Human Services Committee meeting. Is there anybody from the public that would wish to address us? Any staff that wish to address us? New. Is there any additions, deletions, corrections to the minutes from 2 months ago? Seeing none, we'll continue on to the resolution.
First resolution this evening is amending the 2018 county budget to allocate additional state aid from the New York State Office of Mental Health and to recognize distributors of funding in the Community Services Department.
Is read. Any motion, please? Mr. Maxson, second. Mr. Navwanek. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Amending the 2018 county budget relative to Veterans Peer Support Program and authorizing agreements in relation thereto.
Motion, please. Mr. Ferris, second. Mr. Doldo. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Authorizing the commencement of litigation by Jefferson County for the purpose of recovering costs associated with provision of public benefits and services associated with opioid abuse and opioid addicted individuals.
Motion, please. Mr. Doldo, second. Mr. Ferris. Any discussion? Mr. Maxson.
So we are looking to sue the manufacturers of these drugs. Is that the purpose of this resolution?
Yes, but more specifically is to authorize, in advance of that, the hiring of a firm to represent Jefferson County and directing the county attorney to move in that direction.
Right. Would Attorney Paulson please explain our process in this a little bit, please?
Yes, essentially we would be evaluating our damages through the retention of a law firm. They would then, assuming we have cause to bring an action, file that action. My understanding is there are essentially two paths that are being taken by most municipalities, either filing in federal court or state court. I'm advised that most New York State entities are filing in New York State court. Most of those cases are then filed in the local Supreme Court and consolidated with other actions now pending in Suffolk County. A very similar process is occurring in federal courts nationwide. They're being consolidated with cases pending in Ohio right now. There will be test cases tried in the very near future, and probably, depending on how those test cases proceed, there may be, I don't want to say, perhaps settlements of the larger group of cases, but some progress in the larger group between the industry and the litigants, in terms of resolving all the claims. That would be probably the larger hope or the larger outline of how this will proceed. It's difficult to say, obviously, at this point. There are so many cases out there. But that would be as I said, the big picture.
Thank you, Mr. Paulson. Mr. Ferris?
So this is not part of a class action lawsuit. This is an individual lawsuit being brought on by Jefferson County on the local state level.
It would seem at this point that each county, I think we're one of about the last two at this point that has not hitched our wagon with a law firm that is going forward with these in-state courts. But yes, each county is doing its own suit. I think there's a complex matter that would drive it into a different class action situation.
That is correct. None of these actions are being brought on a class action basis. They are individual suits. I can't speak precisely as to why that is, but the determination, I guess, has been made that it doesn't fit into the characteristics of a class action, and therefore these suits are all being brought individually and being handled on what's called a multi-district suit basis. And it's similar in concept to class action, but very different in that these are all individual suits, individual parties. But the courts are trying to handle them all in a very similar manner.
So, are we going after all of the drug companies at one time, or multiple cases, one for each drug company?
I think that would probably be based on the experience of the law firm that we would be working with. You know, there's, I believe as Mr. Paulson mentioned, there's 2 or 3 in particular that most counties have signed on to. There's one that has taken the lion's share of the work, and even I believe Lewis County also worked with this one that has extensive experience both in state and federal courts and has been successful in taking these cases to sue in other states already. So I believe that we would be relying on the expertise of the law firm as to how these are going to be handled. Mr. Maxson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. If this were a resolution looking to hire a law firm to sue an ammunition manufacturer, there would be no one in this room who would be willing to do that. The argument that can be made for opioid abuse is the same argument that some people make about firearms, that some people make about alcohol, that some people make about fast cars, that some people make about ammunition. The critical distinction for me is personal responsibility. And I am not prepared to talk at length about my opposition to this resolution, but I would like to register that I am radically opposed to our suing the manufacturers of opioids or anything else in order to recoup funds. I am opposed.
Thank you, Mr. Maxson. Your objection is duly noted, and I expect more discourse on this next month's meeting. Is there any further comments or discussion on the resolution? Mr. Dodo.
Thank you. Me personally, I'm glad to see this move forward. I believe the manufacturers do have some responsibility in this. I will speak as to myself. When I had back surgery back in 2011, Vicodin was the #1 choice for my back surgery from the doctor, with no information given to me about the addictiveness of this. Even on my pill bottles that I received, there was no warning on there stating that this drug was addictive. The only way that I found out was an individual that had said something to me well after my surgery to be careful because those are to be addictive. They can be addictive. So at that point I had stopped taking them. I was taking them regularly, 1,000 milligrams at a time after surgery, every 3 hours. I had 300 pills prescribed to me at a time. Had no clue. I did quit cold turkey. But there are people out there that didn't. I do have a pill bottle still left at home. I found in my medicine cabinet the other day, you know, and I did look on there. There is no warning whatsoever about this being addictive. So I do truly believe that the manufacturers have misled the doctors. If they did tell the doctors, it was not relayed to me, and it was not relayed from the pharmacy to me. So I believe that some people are in this situation for a lack of information from the manufacturers. So I am very excited that this is moving forward. I'm not saying they're all wholly responsible, but if the information was out there about this problem, I think more people would be careful with the drugs. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dolo. Do you know off the top of your head what year that pill bottle, that prescription was prescribed to you? 2001. Thank you. Mr. McBride.
Thank you. Just from the financial side, do we have a budget that we plan or funds set aside if we do go this legal course? How far can this drag on? How much are we willing to spend?
I think that's a very good question. I'm really going to defer to David, but in essence, we're not being charged anything. If there is a finding of fault and there's an award, there'll be some sort of a percentage of that take that would go to the firm. But up front, we're not paying anything, other than perhaps to some extent the labor side of doing some of the research work. But David, feel free to clarify.
Yeah, that's correct. That's part of the legwork I'm doing right now and checking into the various firms. They all charge on what's called a contingency fee basis. In other words, we don't pay anything up front. We don't pay by the hour. The firms get paid out of any recovery that is had. They charge a slightly different rate. Each firm would charge a slightly different rate. What I'm finding is they're typically in the 25 to 30% range, with slight variations depending on what part of the litigation cycle the case may settle in. So I'm trying to sort that part of it out, which is the best deal, so to speak, from the county's point of view. But it would not require any outlay from us. It's more of a question of evaluating what's the smarter bet for us, to which firm to choose, depending on their proposal.
Any other discussion? All in favor of the resolution? Aye. Opposed? No. Carries.
Next resolution, amending the 2018 county budget to recognize delivery system reform incentive payment funding for the public health department.
May I have a motion, please? Mr. Dolo, second, Mr. Napawanek. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried.
Establishing charges for certain public health services.
A motion, please. Mr. Drake. May I have a second? Mr. Napawanek. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried.
Authorizing agreement with all scripts e-prescribed.
May I have a motion, please? Mr. Dolo, second, Mr. Ferris. Discussion. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried.
Amending the 2018 county budget in relation to the Department of Social Services.
May I have a motion, please? Mr. Drake, second, Mr. Ferris. Any discussion? I guess I have a question with this. The increase, does that have to do with the hot summer? Because I believe HEAP is also, no? Would you please give us an explanation then? Because I know some of the funds can be used towards air conditioning also.
Yeah, no,
correct?
it's not for the cooling season.
Okay.
What it was the state did what they call a second auto pay, which they did it for the first time last year, mid-year, and quite honestly, when we were doing the budget last year, we forgot to figure in that they might do it again this year. What it does is it captures individuals that may have opened a case after September the previous year, so they didn't get the first auto pay. So what they do is mid-year, in the next, still in the same heat cycle, what they do is they kind of capture those cases. So it's much smaller, and that's what this is.
Okay. Thank you very much. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. Some departmental reports within your packets. Is there any other items that come before the committee? I entertain a motion to adjourn. Mr. Ferris, second Mr. Maxson.
call to order the September meeting of the Standing Committee on Finance and Rules. At this time, as people depart, I'd like to offer privilege of the floor. Seeing no one coming to a microphone, we'll move on to the minutes from the last meeting. Any additions, corrections, deletions? If not, they'll stand as presented. And that, sorry to say, we have no cool presentations this month. It's just me and you guys. That's it. Onward to resolutions.
First resolution this evening is setting time and place for public hearing on a tentative budget for fiscal year 2019.
Motion, please. Legislator Neblonic, Legislator McBride. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Payment of legislator expenses.
Motion, please. Legislator McBride, Legislator Johnson. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Amending the 2018 county budget in relation to insurance department.
Motion, please. Legislator Cantwell, Legislator Neblonic. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Sure about the last one? Okay. Are we sure about the last resolution?
In what respect are we sure?
Appointing Commissioner of Social Services.
Oh, okay.
Didn't mean to panic you. Or her.
No, he did on purpose. Okay. Yeah. So, motion, please.
Sorry, Mike.
Yeah. Legislator Drake, thank you. Legislator Johnson, thank you. Discussion on the motion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Carried. On to General Services Committee-sponsored resolutions.
Amending the 2018 county budget to recognize reserve funds in the district attorney's office.
Motion, please. Legislator McBride. Legislator Neblonic. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Authorizing agreement with the New York State Division of Homeland Security and Emergency Services in relation to the Federal Domestic Preparedness Equipment Program and amending the 2018 county budget in relation thereto.
Motion, please. Legislator Cantwell. Legislator Drake. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Authorizing agreement and amending the 2018 county budget in relation to the fiscal year 2018 State Homeland Security Program grant.
Motion, please. Legislator McBride, Legislator Johnson. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Amending the 2018 county budget in relation to the Jefferson County's Housing Improvement Program.
May I have a motion, please? Legislator Cantwell, Legislator Johnson. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Amending the 2018 county budget relative to the probation department.
Motion, please. Legislator Drake, Legislator McBride. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Accepting donation for Sheriff's Department's K-9 unit and amending the 2018 county budget in relation thereto.
Motion, please. Legislator Neblonic, Legislator Johnson. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Authorizing agreement and amending the 2018 county budget in relation to the state fiscal year 2018 Law Enforcement Terrorism Prevention Program grant.
Motion, please. Legislator McBride, Legislator Johnson. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Amending the 2018 county budget in relation to the sheriff's correction.
Motion, please. Legislator Neblonic, Legislator Cantwell. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. On to the Human Services Committee-sponsored resolutions.
Amending the 2018 county budget to allocate additional state aid from the New York State Office of Mental Health and to recognize funding in the Community Services Department.
Motion, please. Legislator McBride, Legislator Cantwell. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Amending the 2018 county budget relative to Veterans Peer Support Program and authorizing agreements in relation thereto.
Motion, please. Legislator Neblonic, Legislator Johnson. Discussion.
Hearing none, all in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Amending the 2018 county budget to recognize funding for the Public Health Department.
Motion, please. Legislator Cantwell, Legislator McBride. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor? Opposed? Carried.
Amending the 2018 county budget in relation to the Department of Social Services for heat.
Motion, please. Legislator Drake, Legislator Cantwell. Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor? Opposed? Carried. And that's it for resolutions. So the other items here are the revenue expenditure spreadsheet. And is there any other business to come before the committee? I'd entertain a motion to adjourn. Legislator Nevelonik, Legislator Cantwell. All in favor? We are adjourned.
I'm going to give you a small challenge. Next month, finance will be around 50.
Why is that the next one?
That'll be the budget.
Oh.
If we could be done in 10 minutes, that would be delightful.
Well, the opioid thing, of course, I want to do finance, so there's full board.
I thought there was actually more. Good question. The question again, Paul, was a good one. Yeah, no, I think that's absolutely correct.
I was going to thank you, but then I don't want to be seen.
Yeah, no, that's everybody.
Yeah, thanks for paying attention to that.
That was a very good question.
Yeah, well.
Yeah. Back in the saddle. Good. It was nice. There is an appreciation of being a grandparent. I don't think I could go do that again. I mean, I kind of go, how do you do that before? You were going to school, soccer, swim lessons.
You were 20 or 30 something.
Yeah, how does that work? Yeah, but in short term, it was delightful.
Which direction did you go?
We went west to Minneapolis, and that's our oldest son and daughter, and they went to Italy.
So you were babysitting?
Yes.
Wow. No wonder you were. You're probably glad to be back at work.
There is a little bit of that. Yeah, there is a little bit of that.
Yes, Dave. You're not after me. You're after him, right? You're looking at him, so I'm... Okay. No rush.
Oh, no. Shoot the breeze. What's up? Having a very good dialogue with them. I understand there's now an article because of yesterday. I haven't seen it. Excuse me, the city. Apparently they had some discussion last night.
Okay.
I've been out of town vacationing. Today's first day back, so I'm playing catch up.